Hey guys, today I'm going to do a coaster countdown, or park countdown, I could say. This is of the top 12 parks in Florida, which these parks are all in Central Florida. I'm doing this only in Central Florida. I haven't visited any parks like Miami or Daytona or anything like that. So I'm not going to include those in the list, but there are some 12 neat parks in Central Florida. I'm going to count them down from my least favorite to most favorite Florida. So let's get started. Number 12, we have Gatorland. This is a bit of Gatorland's actually a pretty neat place. This isn't really a theme park. This is more of a zoo. I'm just going to include on here. Gatorland is more located like 5 minutes or literally next to Hunters Creek, Florida. If you're driving back from the Orlando airport, if you're like going to Disney, you see like a nice little community. That's Hunters Creek. Yeah. And also, I was like 5 minutes away from Kissimmee and stuff. So Gatorland. It's a pretty neat place. It's more like a zoo, but it's neat. They've got a zip line, they've got a train, they've got some good gator exhibits, some gator shows. It's a neat place, but not a park I would spend all day at. Number 11, we have Legoland, Florida. And I have not visited this park since 2012. I've only visited this park once. But, I had a pretty good time here. I was a lot younger. I was 10 when we visited Legoland. From what I did. That was the only time I've ever visited. So I have not been to this park for over 5 years. And I remember this place is pretty fun. However, I was a lot younger then. Looking back now, it probably won't be as good for me because it doesn't have any thrill rides. It does have 4 roller coasters, but they're all kiddie coasters. The best coaster is just a Vekoma Hang and Bang, which is the flying school, or it's basically a clone of Flying Ace Aerial Chase. If at Cedar Fair parks like Carowinds, Kings Island, and they've got there's also a Wild Mouse called Project X for Lego Technic Test Track. Nope, not the test track at Epcot. Then you've got there's a wooden coaster called Coastersaurus, just like a kiddie wooden coaster, and then you've got their kiddie coaster, the Dragon, which is like a Vekoma kiddie coaster, like you would see a Flight of the Hippogriff at Islands of Adventure, but Legoland, it is not a bad park at all. It's very neat. But Legoland's just not as good as some of the other Florida parks. But, it's not bad. But it's not great, just for me. The only reason I would go back here is just to, rewrite everything, just to see how much the park has changed over the years, film there, vlog there. I would only visit that just to get back into, just to see, how much has changed over the years since I was a kid. Legoland, it's a neat place, but not my favorite park in Florida. I like to go back there. They have a good food diversity, and I haven't visited a water park. They have a water park, but yeah, which they have a okay around selection. But I remember their fries. They have these apple fries that were pretty neat. And then they had a pizza and pasta buffet. That's where I ate. That's a pretty good pizza. And the whole place is basically Legos, which I think that's pretty cool. I was like, how did they build this? When did Legos get so giant? I was wondering how they built this place when I was younger. But Legoland's okay. We're going to go into number 10. And number 10 is, you can kind of say this is 2 parks. I'm just going to conclude them both together. This is Fun Spot America / Old Town, and these 2 places are fun. Now let's talk about the Fun Spot section first. The reason why I'm going to include these both together is because they're next to each other, and you do not have to pay to get inside a Fun Spot. So I'm just going to say it's kind of both. But yeah, Fun Spot, man, this is a neat place. They've got 3 roller coasters. We've got a kiddie coaster. We've got a spinning wild mouse called Rockstar Coaster, which it's not that great. Of course, you've got Mind Blower, which is fantastic. You've got a good amount of go-kart tracks and flat rides, and of course, the world's tallest sky coaster. Oh my gosh, this thing looks insane. It intimidates the crap out of the GP. I need to go on this thing. I have not done it yet. Probably because it's an upcharge attraction, and I need to ride it. It looks so cool. So if I ever go back to Fun Spot America, and I have enough money to do it, I'll do it. Because I'm brave enough to do it and stuff. But other than that, the Old Town section, it's like made like an old school city walk style park, and it's not really a park, but they do have a good amount of rides. And they've got like a slingshot ride, a drop tower, a Ferris wheel, a Vomitron, or the Cram Shakers, the Diary Whip Kid Dog Days. And then, of course, we got that food section. We got a lot of good food stuff. And they even do like some car shows. This is a neat place. It has a classic vibe to it, and it's a cool place. I recommend it if you ever stop by Florida. Number 9, we have Fun Spot America. This is the other Fun Spot park. This is actually in Orlando, and this is a cool park. This is a cool place. I think this is definitely the better Fun Spot park. They've got 3 roller coasters like the other park. They've got their kiddie coaster called Sea Serpent. They've got like a Vekoma, not a Vekoma Hang and Bane. It's kind of like this. It's like a second generation Vekoma. It is pretty radly though. It's called Free and Flyer, but it's actually okay. It's actually okay because it has like a lap bar instead of over shoulder straight, so it makes it more comfortable to ride it. It's actually a pretty decent experience. Then of course you got White Lightning, which is a pretty good wooden coaster built by GCI, Great Coasters International. And then they do have 4 different go-kart tracks, which is more than the other park. And the go-kart tracks here are fun. I've done them. They're very violent. They also got a sky coaster there. Not as tall as the one in the other Fun Spot park. This one's 250 feet as opposed to Fun Spot Kissimmee 300-foot sky coaster. And then they also have a good amount of flat rides. I think this park has a better selection of flat rides. I mean, they have an Enterprise, and all the other park doesn't. They've got bumper boats, while the other one doesn't. And this Fun Spot park even has a Ferris wheel, the other one doesn't. I mean, kind of does with Old Town, but I'm just going with Fun Spot. I mean, and also they've got like a carousel. I don't think the other one has a carousel. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've been to Fun Spot Kissimmee. Like with going on their flat rides, the last time I was at Fun Spot Kissimmee was actually 2017. That was only for Mind Blower. But yeah, this park is pretty neat. I would definitely make a trip to Fun Spot America in Orlando. This is a fun place. And I'm planning a trip coming here soon. I was going to go in November, but when I got there, it was so crowded. So I just screw it. We'll come back another day. So I'll try to get back to this park soon. Number 8, this is the start of the Disney parks. And number 8, we have Epcot. And this is a pretty interesting place. And the reason why this is my least favorite Disney park is because there's not a single roller coaster in this park. I understand this is more of like that like exhibit style theme park, like it's more like an exhibit place. And that's what I think makes Epcot very interesting. In a good way. It makes Epcot unique. But this park is actually pretty fun. I do enjoy Epcot. I mean, who doesn't love Mission Space, which is probably the most intense simulator I've ever experienced. And of course, you got Test Track, which is pretty good, and Soarin's a pretty neat ride. Does kind of suck that they got rid of the original version. I loved the original version. I do like the new version of Soarin', but the original one I thought was much better all the way. The whole experience and stuff in the film is better on the new one, but the old one, the soundtrack was by far better compared to the new one. The new soundtrack was just kind of disappointing in my opinion. But I mean, sorry, it's kind of weird saying this late in 2018, but I'm not a Disney Pass holder, and I rode Soarin' around the world for the first time over a year after it first debuted. So I did not really have a taste for it. And I've done the original Soarin' so many times. But Epcot, of course, what they're known for is their World Showcase. They've got a bunch of different countries like Mexico, Germany, America, Morocco, France, United Kingdom, China, Norway, which has the Frozen ride. And they have of course tons of good food there, like in each pavilion. It's 11 different pavilions. And this is what Epcot's known for, is their World Showcase. I think the World Showcase is pretty cool. Like, for example, if you're in the Japan pavilion, you'll see, a bunch of anime and stuff. If you're in the Mexico pavilion, you'll, get, your chips and salsa. and like your festive feel. If you're in China, yeah, if you're in Germany, you'll probably get your beer and like that German type feel. Probably feel like Fantasyland. Sorry if this seemed a little racist, but yeah. But yeah, that's Epcot's World Showcase. And yeah, let's move on to the next park. Next park, we have Disney's Hollywood Studios, taking number 7. This park is pretty good. This is a pretty good Disney park, and this would be way higher. I love this. I love this park if we're higher. Like, and the only reason why it's not as high is because half the park is closed. But I'm pretty sure it's because right now there's a lot of construction going on in this park. Got Star Wars Land, Toy Story Land. Of course, Toy Story Land's getting that new family coaster, which actually looks pretty good. I'll try to ride it soon when it opens, which is a Sleeky Dog Dash. And but other than like waiting for Star Wars Land to open, this park is fun. They've got Star Tours, which is a good simulator, much better than the Wild Arctic at SeaWorld. Oh, I hate Wild Arctic. I'll get to that later, but yeah, they got also Star Wars Launch Bay, which is a pretty neat exhibit. Of course, you got Tower Terror, which, in my opinion, this might sound weird, I think it's one of the best drop towers out there. And of course, you got Rock and Roller Coaster, which is one of the best Bacomas. It's a brilliant launch coaster. Yeah, Disney's Hollywood Studios is a fun Disney park. I enjoy it a lot right now. I love it, but it's not as good as it used to be. Just simply because they've closed a lot of it down and they're changing it and stuff. But Hollywood Studios, it's still a neat place. I would definitely make a visit to this park. I'm not saying skip on Hollywood Studios. If it sounds like I'm giving some of the park crap, like saying the cons of the park, don't like if you hear me saying my cons, that doesn't mean you should not visit this park. No, it means like it's something that they're not good at that they could do better. Even if I say a con, I still recommend you visiting the park because you never know. This is just my opinion, and I encourage you guys to form your own opinions. But in the Stay Hollywood Studios right now, it's still pretty good, but not as good as it used to be. But I still recommend it though. It is a good place. Okay, number 6, we have the one and only Magic Kingdom. This park started it all when it comes to Disney World. This park is legendary. They've got a bunch of classic attractions. In this park, this is actually the first park I ever visited back in 2002 when I was a baby. But yeah, I remember like coming here throughout these years. I've always coming here and stuff. I've always enjoyed coming here since I was a baby, and I still enjoy this park to this day. I love Magic Kingdom. They've got a good amount of classic attractions, like Space Mountain. That is a fun indoor coaster. They also got Thunder Mountain, which was actually the first major coaster I ever rode, and so Thunder Mountain will hold a special spot in my heart. I really adore that coaster a lot. Same as Space Mountain, not as much as Thunder Mountain though. Of course, you got Splash Mountain, which I think that's a neat water ride. Got Sundoor Spine Train, which I'm not crazy about Sundoor Spine Train. Probably simply not because not. It's probably just because with Sundoor Spine Train, I don't adore it as much because it's not like a classic like Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain. Sorry if I started speaking gibberish a little back there, but anyhow, let's continue. But Barnstormer, that was actually the first coaster I ever rode back in 2004. But it was the Whisker Farm. But of course, we've got more than that. Of course, we've got Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, Jungle Cruise, plus like your Space Ranger Spin, Tomorrowland Indy Speedway, Dumbo. It's a Small World. It's a small world after all. Sorry, I just wanted to sing real quick. And of course, you got Peter Pan's Flight, Mickey's Flower Magic, Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. There's so many classic attractions here. And yeah, one of the interesting things though is that if you're in the Fantasyland section, it honestly feels like Germany there, which is weird. I think back then the parks were like very German back then. I don't know, it's kind of weird. I'll explain that for another day. But Magic Kingdom is a fun place, and I definitely recommend. Now, I would try to recommend finding the right day to go here, because this park, no matter what, it will always be insanely crowded. I have never been to this park where it was dead. Well, maybe sure during Labor Day, but other than that, it has been so busy here. Even in dead days, it's still extremely busy. This park is so busy. That is one of the major cons with Magic Kingdom. But I mean, if you get Fast Pass and stuff, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it if you get a Fast Pass. So that's why I recommend using if you're going to Magic Kingdom. But definitely hit up Magic Kingdom. It's a good place. And number 5 is my favorite Disney park. This is Animal Kingdom. When I visited Animal Kingdom like in 2014 and before and stuff, I enjoyed this park, but not as much as when I went back 2017. From 2014 through 2017, it had been 3 years like that time since I went to Animal Kingdom. From 2014 through 2017, like from November 2014 to September 2017, I did not visit Animal Kingdom, which was kind of sad for me. Probably just because I've been with like, Universal and SeaWorld and Busch Gardens. But when I went back to Animal Kingdom, I forgot how much fun it was. Usually when I went to Animal Kingdom, I'd only spend like maybe an hour or two in the park. But I spent like the night at Animal Kingdom, like till the park closed. And I just went and I was blown away. Animal Kingdom, it's not just about the rides and stuff in Animal Kingdom. Like, there's more than that. I think maybe part of the reason why is because of Pandora. Oh my gosh, Pandora is so cool. Probably the best themed area of any park everywhere, basically. It's such a neat land. Like, the theming is incredible. Who doesn't love the floating rocks? Like, that right there just blew my mind when I first saw it. It was incredible. And other than that, the park is also pretty good too. Like other than Pandora, like got Expedition Everest, which my favorite ride at Disney, personally. It's a pretty good Vekoma family coaster. And you've got Dinosaur, which is a kind of like a knockoff Jurassic Park. I'll say that, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty crazy dark ride. I will say that. I don't know. From last time I wrote 2017 just seems so much more intense. Of course, got like a safari ride, Kilimanjaro Safaris, which I haven't ridden that in quite a while, so I'd like to do it again one day. And of course, got Caliber Rapids, which is a crazy water ride. You just get so soaked in it. And of course, got a 2-track spinning wild mouse of the Prairie World, which I'm not a fan of that ride. It's really painful. But yeah, Animal Kingdom is such a cool place. I definitely recommend hitting up Animal Kingdom. If you had to choose one Disney park, I would go definitely Magic Kingdom or this. I don't know. It's one of the two. I just love both parks. Number 4, we have Universal Studios Florida. And this park is fantastic. I love this park. This park, I've been coming here a lot. I'm a pass holder at Universal, and this park is very neat. It's very special to me. Now, the only unfortunate part with this park is that more than half of the rides are screen-based rides or dark rides. That is a major con for me. You would like to have a variety of different variety of rides when you're at a theme park, but this park is so focused on screen rides. They're adding a new ride 2018, and yet that is even a screen like what the flip is wrong with you, Universal? Are you not knowing how to make another roller coaster? But I mean, yeah, the last roller coaster was actually built in 2014, Harry Potter Escape from Gringotts, and that even has screens in it, and they made it like a dark ride. I mean, as much as the concept is, it's actually a really good ride, but it just kind of sucks that they even put screens in it. And, I mean, Race in New York, I will admit, that is probably one of the best screen rides. Yes, get right, yep, get the criticism in. I think Race in New York is one of the best dark rides ever, or one of the best simulators. I love the experience. The experience, I just look forward, towards the experience, and Jamie found, Race in New York City, Jamie found the experience is incredible. From the queue line, to the Ragtime Gals, to even Hashtag the Panda, in the games, it's neat in the queue line, and the ride is fun. You gotta know how to experience it. And of course, we've got some other good dark rides. Transformers The Ride is really good. Men in Black is probably the best shooting dark ride I've experienced. I'd like to see someone could challenge me in that ride soon. And the Simpsons ride, that one's okay. It's gotten better though. It doesn't. I don't feel. It doesn't really give me as bad of a headache as it used to be. And stuff. And then E.T. That's a classic. And they do have a good amount of roller coasters there. Like, let's see here, Harry Potter Escape from Gringotts, which is a really neat experience, and Diagon Alley. Got Wee Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster, which is just a kiddie coaster. Got Revenge of the Mummy, which is probably the best indoor coaster I've ever ridden. And of course, you got Hollywood Ride Rocket, which is a Marchon XR coaster. It's pretty good, but we'll admit it is pretty rough. But it's still fun though. I do like it. Okay, so that's Universal Studios. Starting off the top three, we actually have the other park, next door to Universal Studios. This is Islands of Adventure. Now, this park would be higher. However, last year, 2017. Last year, 2017. Sorry, this is being filmed in 2018. They removed two major steel coasters: the Dragon Challenge, Chinese Fireball, and Hungarian Horntail. And it sucked when they removed those two. Like, they were still a pretty good rides. Like, usually when a park removes a coaster, it's for like a good cause because the ride's just not that good. But Dragon Challenge was fun. I loved the Dragon Challenge. Probably not as much as Hulk, but Dragon Challenge was still fun. It used to be called Dueling Dragons. It was a pair of dueling B&M inverts. But Universal decided to be stupid and remove them. So curse you, Universal, for removing two great B&M inverts. The first ever B&Ms to be removed ever in the history of roller coasters. But I mean, well, other than that, Islands of Adventure is fantastic. Of course, you got the Incredible Hulk coaster, which is a fantastic coaster built by B&M. It's a B&M sit down, and it's just a lot more unique compared to the other B&M sit downs, just because of that launch, and the whole experience is fun. And of course, you got Hogsmeade, which is really cool. Not as good as Diagon Alley, but Hogsmeade's very cool though. Of course, they got two of the best dark rides ever. Like, who doesn't love the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man? I love that ride. And Forbidden Journey is great too. And you got some great water rides too, like Jurassic Park River Adventure, Dudley Donuts Ripsaw Falls, Popeye Blues Bridge Wrap Barges, and also we've got Skull Island Rain Kong, which that's not a water ride. I mean, Skull Island kind of is trash a little bit. It's too screeny. And of course, you got Dr. Spherefall, which is a good pair of SNS drop towers, which those are fun. Of course, you also got Flight Hippogriff, which is another kiddie coaster. But yeah, Islands of Adventure is a fantastic place. I love this park. If I had to choose one of the parks at Universal, I would definitely pick this one. This park is it has a different feel compared to Universal Studios. It immerses you way more than the other park, except for Diagon Alley. But yeah, but that's my opinion. You could form your own opinion. I encourage you to form your own opinion. Don't form your own opinion based off what I think. I encourage you to go out and form your own opinion. Okay, number 2, we have SeaWorld Orlando, which this park is kind of unpopular of me putting it this high, but I love SeaWorld Orlando. This park is so much fun. It's because of how many B&Ms they have. They have a great collection of B&Ms. Like Mako. Oh my gosh, this thing is incredible. Personally right now, my favorite B&M hyper I've ever ridden. I've ridden 4 of these B&M hypers. I've ridden Mako, Apollo's Chariot, Intimidator, and Goliath. And I still think Mako's the best hyper out of them all. Just Mako's has a different feel. What SeaWorld did with Mako was just incredible. And they've got Manta, which is the best flying coaster I've ever ridden, in my opinion. Or Manta is my favorite flying coaster at the moment. I've yet to ride Tatsu at Six Flags Magic Mountain, but Manta's way better than those dumb Superman clones. And of course, you got Kraken, or Kraken Unleashed, you'd say now, which, oh my gosh, Kraken is so much fun. I love Kraken. and the VR experience is very neat at Kraken. And you do have some great rides on that. Of course, you got another roller coaster, Journey to Atlantis, which is a Mack Rides water coaster, which is a pretty neat ride. And of course, you got Shave Express, the kiddie coaster, and you've got a good selection of other rides too. Like, of course, you got Antarctica, Empire of the Pig, which I think is a neat dark ride, and Wild Arctic, which I hate that ride. That ride sucks. I saw a POV of me on Wild Arctic. You could hear me just saying "ouch" the whole time, just laughing at how bad it was. What SeaWorld is really known for is their shows. Their shows are incredible. Like, Clyde and Seymour is probably the best show there, in my opinion. I think that show is so funny. And, of course, I really enjoyed the One Ocean show. Dolphin Days is alright. But, yeah, I'm not really usually there for the shows. I'm usually there more for the rides. Like, of course, I'm usually there for more, like, Mako and stuff. And Manta and Kraken. But SeaWorld is a fun place. I could just come here a lot. So, yeah. And number one is the park. This park is farther away than all the other parks in Central Florida. Is Busch Gardens Tampa. This is which is taking the number one spot for best park in Florida. I think this is the best park in Florida. This park is so much fun. I love Busch Gardens. That's probably because this park is focused a lot on the roller coasters. But this park has a good selection of coasters, like Air Grover, which is just a kiddie coaster. We got Sheikra, the B&M dive coaster, which is fantastic. Best dive coaster I've ridden so far. We got Kumba, my favorite B&M sit down, which is just so intense and incredible. And we got Scorpion, which is a good Schwarzkopf. We got Sand Serpent, which that's okay, it's a wild mess. We got Cheetah Hunt, which is probably the best family coaster ever. And Cobra's Curse, best spinning coaster. And Monsoon, one of the best B&M inverts. And of course, I cannot stop talking about Busch Gardens without mentioning Falcon's Fury. Oh my gosh, Falcon's Fury is probably the most insane ride I've ever ridden. This thing, you go up 335 feet in the air, and at the top you tilt 90 degrees, so you're hanging from over 300 feet in the air, and you just drop. That thing is insane. I love Falcon's Fury. And also we've got a good amount of animal encounters, and there's some good family rides too. Like, of course, you got Sesame Street's Fire Fun. You got to go wild rides like Stanley Falls Lock Flume, Colligo River Rapids, not Colligo River Rapids, or not Colligo River Rapids, Colligo River Rapids. Of course, got some bumper cars. And Phoenix, that's really a thrill ride. Phoenix, I do not like that ride. That ride is, it's not rough or anything. It's just a very uncomfortable experience. I'll ride Phoenix, but Phoenix is not that good. You've got a sky ride too. This is one of those parks where you have a sky ride and a train, which I think is pretty neat. And I mean, the only problem with Busch Gardens with this park is there's a couple rides here that are abandoned, like Wazi, which is a GCI wooden coaster, just sitting there rotting. I think they need to do something. I mean, I could see them seeing it in the future. I'm just not sure if that's going to happen though, because of lack of money and also for the fact that the wood is in such bad shape. And then they've got like another water ride, the Tanganyika Highway, that's abandoned. They got Round Rally, which is also saying abandoned. They have 3 abandoned attractions, and they've done nothing with them, which I think it's kind of stupid. But I try not to think of that as a con. I think of that maybe as unique. But Busch Gardens Tampa is just such a fantastic park. Another reason why it's so good as well is just because it's such a big park. 365 acres, but it's just so, it's just such a good spread out park. That's another great thing with Busch Gardens. And also this park usually is never as crowded as the other parks in Florida, so that's always a plus. And that's going to do it for this review, for this countdown. What would you say is your favorite parks in Florida? I want to know. Hit me up in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. And I'll catch y'all next time. Have a Deemtacular day.